Welcome to the channel today, guys. Today I will be doing a Jaguar XKR X150 5 litre supercharged oil change, and I'll be showing you the step in the process going through. So all the tools you'll need, all the safety requirements to jack the car up safely. So let's get into it and then enjoy this video. Like and subscribe. So today I have my little companion with me. It's little Mikey. He'll be guiding me through the process of doing the oil change. So I paid 125 quid for the service kit. It comes with 0W20 oil. This is exactly what we need for our Jaguar. It also comes with a sump bolt as well. So what I see a lot of on YouTubers do, I don't see them dropping the oil from the bottom ends, and I did this last time. So really I want to be able to get as much carbon out. I want to be able to get all the sludge out if there is any, and by doing that I'll be buying the liquid moly. That was £12.99, also bought on eBay. So with the tools I'm going for is you can either use a chain, or you could use an oil filter remover to just slide it, pop it off. The issue I find sometimes using with these, if they are torqued way too high or they're tightened too high, I prefer using the chain, even though it'll damage potentially your oil filter. Won't damage the housing, won't damage the casing, but it's if a mechanic's been horrible, then you'll probably want to get one of these or anything. So you can also get one that has a belt around it as well, so you can actually clamp it on there and then release it with a ratchet. That'll probably be the best one. And obviously Magnuson tool set, I always recommend these. The only thing I don't like about them is obviously the preference, just because if you've got a rusty corroded bolt, then it will shred it. So I also got another set from Amazon, which will cover most. Let's get that open. There we go. So we got this as well, so able to have our sockets actually be able to clamp on there and be well on there, and you can interchange them. So use the Magnuson setup, and then you've got yourself a nice ratchet to go onto, and also a torque wrench. And also comfort, we want floor mats. This is a messy job, this isn't an easy job to do. So basically we'll have some floor mats as well, just to have the comfort, because you don't want to be scraping along the half floor. What's the point? And then obviously with these having an 8 litre oil change, we'll have 2 4 litre ones to basically dump our oil into. So you'll change them through about halfway through, and then we'll get rid of the excess back into the old canisters, so we can take to the tip. And then I can't recommend this jack enough. It's honestly helped me out so many times. It's a Halford's one. As a starter, it's got the low edge as well, so this will help. This has helped me lift up a whole gearbox, lift up the whole rear sub-assembly for the rear differential and the subframe. It has been through the mill, and I'll tell you what, it's one tough cookie. Even jacking up a Volkswagen camper. Didn't like it, but it still works. So without further ado, what we're going to do is get on with it. So starting off, we're going to take the engine cover off, because we won't be needing this on there today. It'll just get in the way. As far as the top end go, the 2 things we are going to be removing obviously is just the oil cap and the oil filter housing. That's literally it. So now I'm set, I'm going to show you safely how to jack the car up and get this car off the ground, so we can work on, get underneath it, drop the oil from the bottom, and just see how it goes. So the jacking point featured on these cars, you'll see a little indentation where the arrow is, and that's your sill. So what we're going to do, we're going to jack it up via the sill, and then put an axle stand on this side, a smaller axle stand, not the heavy duty ones, and then go from there. The jack, I've gone with a bit of carpet and just putting that on top of there, just so then it doesn't damage the sill. I would always recommend protecting your sills, even though these are aluminium. Yeah, you don't want it bent. Just going to go nice and steady in it. Make sure you don't hit the plastic side skirt. There we go. And just keep pumping. We got our axle stands. I'm just going to be doing this one stage at a time. Drop this down. It's easier to get these back ones on. So you can see I need to jack up a little bit more just to get it on this part of the chassis. So we're going to carry on. Keep pumping. There we go. That should be enough to drop that one on there. So we can get this nice and flat. Then got this one down as well. Just ideally just to get this side level. Wrong one. There we go. So it's just going to go on that chassis. And what I'm going to do now is slowly release. Making sure that these jack stands go seat on to exactly where I want them. You just take your time with this, don't rush it. And you see here on the back one, that's nice and seated. As we've still got to do the other side, so bring the jack closer to you this side. But as you can see, there's a slight lip there. So when the car straightens up, when you're jacking it, it'll be a lot, so it won't slide where you don't want it. You have to be just cautious of it, that's all. The issue with jacking up cars, there's little room for error. So you can see that one isn't seated. So if I get to you closer, you see where that is on the chassis leg, but it's not square on. So just reset, because whilst working under the car, sounds fun, it's not. It can be really dangerous, so just make sure you get your priorities of the safety first, and the rest of it's a laugh. Well, whoever says that working on cars, it's not true. They're psychos. There you go. Seating lovely, a few creaks, normal. Right, now to the other side. No, you're right. So here's my dad. He's monitoring that side, watching this that side, making sure that they're going to be nice and seated whilst I jack this side up. So
not much room under there to get out, is it?
no. Well, that's why I'm going on the bigger ones. So, there we go.
On the sill bit, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're jacking it on the sill.
You need to be on that metal bit in the back.
And we're trying not to hit the plastic. There we go. Right. Very slowly, steady does it. There we go, the rear tyre's going. And because half of those jacks are taking the weight of that side of the car, it's a lot easier to pump.
You're about level now. Oh, that's it, that's it.
What do you mean that's it?
Well, you're level near enough.
I've got to keep going.
I'll watch you don't move. Go on, carry on, man.
Well, keep your hands away from them, just watch them.
I am watching it.
Because you can't do anything when they go anyways.
I don't want it lifting.
So I'd rather the car go than you.
Lifting the jack this side.
Right, that's it.
Lifting it up this side.
So now I'm just going to put the back end on. Because these jacks are slightly smaller. Always make sure you get there. Don't do what I'm doing, and make sure you get the same size jacks. So I've got to drop that down onto there and make sure the front is on as well. So now we've got these axle stands in here, and they are looking level to the other side now. So I'm just going to ease it off and make sure that that seats on nicely and correlates to the other side. So we're at the ready. Here we go. Slowly releasing. And you can see already that that one wants to go to the right a little bit. So I'm just going to jack it back up again. Only ever so slightly. And there we go. So that's going to seat in a bit better. So now I know that one's going to seat in. I'm going to release the jack. Right, that's the front on. That's nice and seated. Now I just got to watch out for the back.
Come on.
There she goes. She is now in the air. Yeah. What I've also noticed when I've jacked the car up, that the other side isn't level with it. So for extra safety with what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be putting the jack underneath that where the axle stand is, and just jacking it up to the point where it makes the car level. You have to get this spot on anyways, because when it comes to doing the oil level sensor and all that, we don't have a dipstick for this car. So as frustrating as that is for it, you have electronic dipstick which you read on the dash. So we have to get this car on that point of where it's level. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, just jack it up from that side and then go from there. Here we are now. So basically we've got the jack in place of where the axle stand is asleep in because it's not doing anything. And now the other three jack points are connected, and they're actually holding the car perfectly fine. Always do a safety check. So the car not moving, nothing like that. And when you're testing the car, because these are alley panels, or any car, even if they're steel, just don't push on here, and don't push on the door, and don't push on the rear quarter. Well, the rear quarter is actually nice and strong, actually. Yeah, you don't want to put a nice dent in it, because aluminium panels are expensive to get a PDR out. You need specific heat, temperature, etc. to then pull it out. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but she's all ready to go. So now the plan is to drop the under tray, so the belly pan on it. I don't reckon I'm gonna have as much fun as this, because as I said earlier in the video, a bolt just keeps spinning and spinning. So it's either gonna cut it off or see if I can put some tension underneath there to try and get it off. So here we go. So now I have made my bed for the next hour or so, where I'll be laying on the floor mats. Got these from Halfords. You get 5 of them in a pack. They normally do an offer of two lots for 20 quid. So that's where I got these from, and honestly it's better than grafting on the floor. I'm done with that. I'm only just above 30 and I don't fancy keep grovelling on the floor no more. So surprisingly enough, I just about fit under here. So I think that's the screw I keep having problems with. And that's the belly pan that I would be undoing. Now, I don't think I need to undo the front tray. If I have to, that's what I have to do. That's what I have to do. So we'll find out. Also, tip of the week. So you got all your bolts out and everything like that. So where do you want to put them, and remember where you're going to have them? Put it on a piece of cardboard. Literally just put it on the cardboard and then just write where it's located and everything like that, so you'll be able to know exactly where they are for when you want to put them back. So it saves your brain basically trying to figure out, oh, why have I got an extra bolt there? You got to know where you're putting stuff back, especially on cars like this, especially if you're training to be a mechanic as well, or even a body shop. So good luck. Have a look. Well, so this is one of those things that I'm glad I'm doing it this way. So I've gone underneath the car and I've took the under tray off. So here we are, got the under tray. So you got 2 bolts here, 2 bolts at the front, and then 2 bolts holding it at the back. You also have these tags on this side where you'll get a trim removal tool. I'll show you how to do it when I put this back on. It's just that I found a shocking discovery. So similar to this side, that's what they are. You get a little pry tool and you just pull them out. I'll actually show you that. Alright, so here's my pry tool, and you just pull these little tabs out slowly like that, and there you go, where it lips up like that. Then get underneath it and then pop it out. So easy done. I always try keeping things back and putting things back original. Shocking discovery with this one, what I found, the under tray is not using the original bolts or anything like that. They literally can find whatever they found. So next time I'm doing this, I'm going to be replacing those bolts and having it back to OEM spec. Cheapskates. But yeah, the shocking discovery, it's leaking oil from the sump plug. So if you're draining it from the top and you're thinking, oh right, this is okay, I'm doing a service, and then later on wondering why your oil is going lower, it's probably your sump bolt, mate. So we'll make sure that make sure we're going to change the sump bolt, and I'm glad that I found that, because this would have cost me a fortune and probably a headache if I put new oil in, which is going to be thinner viscosity and it's going to leak through. So especially when I'm putting this new stuff in. So awesome. What I'm doing now, I'll stop waving that around. What I'm doing now is I'm just letting the car run for about 10 minutes, and then basically drain some oil from the top and let the car settle. Drain 500 ml from the top, and then I'm going to be putting that liquid moly and putting it in there and making sure, and then running it another 10 to 15 minutes to make sure it's running good. so then it's ready to then expel the oil from the bottom of the sump pan. So awesome stuff. So these are for you if you want to just drain the oil from the top. So you get one of these nice sealer units, and basically this is a pump, and this will pump the oil out from that little hole there. So you would attach this to that little hole there, and then you drain it out via that way, the whole 8 litres. So the power point is where it has a 12 volt voltage. Just here you'll see where it says 12 volts. You plug that onto there, and then you'll put the other lead onto earth. So there you go, or in this case the suspension top mount, and then flick it on, and then you'll drain it out. So now what I'm going to do is just drain 500 ml out. Now the car is nice and warm. What I'm going to do is now drain it from there, and then put the liquid moly in, let it run for 10 to 15 minutes, and then drain the oil out from the bottom. Because the oil is so warm, it's melting the pipe. Thankfully we're only taking 500 ml out. But yeah, this car is well overdue an oil change. So I'm just going to stop that right there. Oh yeah, lovely black stuff. Pass it off as coffee. So that's absolutely awesome. So that's 500 ml out. Here we go. We've got the liquid moly. The squeezing tab. There we are. Pull this out. Oh, that smells lovely. There we go. So this gives us all the additives to get rid of all the nasty grease in the in the engine. Okay, awesome. So once that's emptied, because worst thing to do is just then don't take oil out, and then you overfill it, and then where's the oil going to go? Oh, it's going to leak out the gaskets. We don't want that. So now I'm going to put the oil cap back on, because otherwise we'll have a vacuum leak. Start her up, leave it for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to leave it for 15, and then drain the oil out from the bottom. Great start. This oil definitely needed changing. Like, it's still got quite a nice light twist tinge to it, and you can see, so it's not fully black, but it is still overdue an oil change. I think I have made the right call in doing this, because it's been about 8,000 give or take miles since I last done this, but primitive maintenance is a definite for these vehicles. As we all know, that timing chains aren't exactly the best on these, so to keep the car running and the longevity of running it, so this is what we got to do. Primitive maintenance goes a long way for cars, and whoever did the wrap, you're an absolute star. This was wrapped well over a year ago and is thoroughly wrapped beautifully, and it's done really well to last throughout these harsh winter conditions as well, especially in the UK right now. But yeah, give Wraptor Customs a call if you don't want to be like me and do a DIY service. They're your people to go to. They'll look after you, and they are extremely good at their jobs for being Jaguar specialists. They're absolutely ace. So I'll give them a good shout out. Great people. So now the engine oil is now up to temperature. So what I'm going to do the easiest bit first. Why we do this is so basically it releases pressure and allows the oil to come out at the bottom a lot more fluid and a lot more quicker as well. So I'll get my tool here, just careful of the pipes either side, and I clamp it, and there we go. As you can see, she's loosened up. Some of you will struggle with this one because a lot of people don't torque it up to the specific. They go as tight as they can get it, and it's not necessary. It is not necessary to do. So I've tightened this up accordingly because I knew in anticipation that I was going to change it in the future. So there we go. And now on to the messy part, which is draining the oil from the bottom. Here we go, bit of fun. I'm going to get filthy doing this. So the sump bolt is a 13mm socket, so we'll be using that, and then obviously we'll be having to take the oil pan down there. It's going to come out pretty quick, so I'll get ready for the second one to put in, and just in case I've got my reserve one as well from Halfords, and just in case, because I reckon there probably is a bit more oil than that's going to be able to hold. So wish me luck. So the location for the sump bolt, sorry for jiggling the camera, is just there. You see it comes to the side of the engine on the driver's side if you're in the UK, and it'll just be straight away take out. Make sure we put the oil pan roughly round here so it can catch the oil, because this will just shoot out, especially as it's just been warmed up. Well, after that breakage, let's see if it breaks this one. There we go. That was tight. Now, I don't reckon it's supposed to be that tight. I'm going to check the torque specs, and I reckon the mechanic's been an absolute, what you call it. Here we go. Yeah, that O-ring is gone. That's why I was having that problem. Yeah. And boom. There we go. So I angle it quite close to the wheel. I'm going to chuck that in there. And I'm going to get ready for the second pan, because this oil is pouring it. Once that gets to about 3/4 full, I'm going to switch over to this one.
I said you were up there.
Nearly there. There we go. So now push this one out the way. And we can relax. Hopefully relax, because we might need a second one.
Third one.
Third one, yeah, fourth one.
You might be lucky.
Yes. That's the satisfying part. So now, back to the top. Right, so now we can remove this, and I'll tell you what, that's not that bad. So that's a good telltale sign you've got a good engine oil. Always use the proper stuff. Awesome. Right, so now we're going to dispose of the old one. I'm just going to put it and rest it on this tub here. then this just simply just pulls out like that. Last time it was a lot more troublesome. So that's all good. I don't mind a bit of the old oil still being in it, because when you start the car up, it'd be nice to have, knowing that there is still some oil in there. Because obviously it needs to go through the system. And this comes with an O-ring as well, which is brilliant. So happy days. So it's aftermarket one. Even though it says it's Bosch. Yeah, it does say it's Bosch, I'm just blind. So that's good. We've got 2 O-rings on there, so that's perfect. Already seated on for us. All we got to do now is just switch the O-ring off from that one to this one to onto that one. So I get a little flathead screwdriver, and I just take my time with it a little bit because I don't want to damage any of the threads. So I'll get underneath it, pry it out, and there you go. And just pull it out. Don't need to scrape along there, nothing like that. Just simple whip it out job. And then a little bit of the old oil. It's just old habits that I had, just to make it a little bit easier going on. And then push it down and then seat it in there. There we go. Ready for the new installation. Here we go. You ready? Pop. That's when you know that's on. Pops on, clips in, job done. 2 hours later and still dripping. So the official torque on the lower bolt is 25 newton meters to 30 newton meters. So unfortunately this torque wrench I've got right now only goes to 22.6 newton meters. So what I'm going to do is just torque it up to 22.6 and then give it an extra quarter. So it's not going to be much. So new sump bolt, here we go. We always do it by hand. Do not gun this up, because the last thing you want to do is round it off. And because it's nicely lubricated, obviously being oil, it goes in quite nicely. So now roll reverse, righty tighty. There we are. There we go. So push towards the back of the car. So it's nice and seated in. It should have clicked off by now. Gonna go with the light. I don't trust that. Right. This torque wrench doesn't seem to be clicking off. Let's see if I drop it down a little bit and see if that clicks off. There we go. The last thing I want to do is over tighten this bolt and snap it in there. So yeah, it does click off at a lower rate. So from my experience, just go to what feels right. And that to me feels right. Not too tight, not enough that's going to cause any problems. Because I'm going to rerun in this car anyway, so if I need to have it tight anyways, I can always go a little bit more. But that to me is telling me that's stopping. So let's get to putting the oil in. The exciting part. So here we go then. So now the oil filter's going in. Do it as by hand as much as you can, and then the rest of it will have to be tightened up via this. Make sure it's nice and seated in, it's not at an angle. You put your finger in there and you can gauge whether it's even all the way around, because yet again, another thing, you do not want to go in and cross threading, and we'll just go in and tighten it up. Not my favourite way of doing this. I definitely will have to invest in a better ratchet for it, and then get myself a new one, probably order a new casing, as well as get the correct socket size for it as well, because you can get a socket for this, because this is just chewing this up, and me and my OCD, I don't like doing this. So now we've got an oil funnel. I'm going to start off with the new stuff, with the smaller stuff, and got to see when this actually goes down, because I want to make sure there's no leaks for when I'm dropping it down at the bottom there, because I'm a bit skeptical of that sump bolt, even though it's a new one. Really gold and stuff, and syrup base. And the thing is, you get pure satisfaction from doing this job for a DIY perspective. It's when you go take the car out for a ride and you know what you've done, and making sure the anxiety goes away from that you think, oh right, this part's going to fall off, or it's going to. But it's so satisfying when you get back home and realise it doesn't. Even better is when you learn how to do it and you know what you're doing. And that just takes time. So now I'm confident, and I've checked underneath the carb. Now there is no leaks with the 1 litre oil going in. I can then go in with the 5 litre oil. So let's open it up. One thing I wish Castrol did, with a lot of Mercedes products and BMW products that I use, they have a nice little nozzle and funnel for you, so you don't have to worry about getting any bits of little aluminium foil in your nice engine. So I go gently with it, key it off, and make sure any loose bits are fully off, because this is the last thing you want in especially one of these engines, is aluminium going into it. Or for any engine for that matter. If it's a Honda, I guarantee it will still run. Here we go, side on and pour. No spillages, and that's how I like it. Keep it nice and clean. You ain't gonna get it perfect first time, so just take your time with it. All part of the learning. And just let the funnel do the work, let it drop down, and then pour again. Believe it or not, this just takes just as long, the oil coming in, than it is going out. All I know is that once you've got all the bits to do these tools, you'll save money. You'll save money on doing your own jobs, jacking the car up safely. There's plenty of Google images and methods, especially if you go onto Fatchums, and they will tell you specific things that you need to require to do jobs, from doing the door cards, the wings, the front bumper, everything you need. What are those old books called? Those it's on the tip of the tongue. we're on to the last one now. And this car takes the 5 litre supercharged AJ33 engine, 1.4 engine. Takes 7.2 to up to 7.5 litres of oil. We've only got 7 litres of oil here, but that's a rough guidance for me. I've also got some leftover motor oil, so it's a good thing because I'd rather underfill it than overfill it. So knowing that 7 litres has gone in there, that's basically saying that's your bare minimum to add in. It might even be 6.8, but so now we've got 7 litres in there. We're just going to drop another ½ litre in. Once this goes to the bottom, I'm going to measure it on the car's dipstick. I'll show you how to do that, because this ain't got a dipstick, it's electronic, and it's right at the bottom of the sump. So here we are, sitting in the Jag. I'm just going to press the start without starting the car on, so foot off the brake. So I'll show you how to reset the service required as well, because obviously we've just done a service. So it says here, engine oil level okay. So I've put in 7 litres. You can see where it can go up a little bit more, but if that's going to be where it's going to be happy when I drop the car down and then take it for a run, then happy days. That should be perfect. So now we have the oil back in the car, it's all nice and level. So now what we're going to do is piece it all back together. So that starts off with the under tray and then just the engine cover. So all good. So belly pan's on now, so that's good. All it is 2 bolts at the front, 2 bolts and 2 nuts in the middle, and 2 bolts at the rear. Mine were bodged, and what I mean by bodge, one of them's just a nut and bolt. It's a nut and bolt anyways, but it's welded to the subframe. But the other one was, yeah, snapped off. So they've kind of just bodged it. I've just put new nut and bolt in there, so now it's in there. It should be perfectly fine. But yeah, quite easy if you got the car up high enough. That's the only thing I wish I did with this car, was get it up higher, but time and delay and obviously recording says it all. So now it's just get the car off the ramp and then take it for a drive. Right, so now roll reverse when we're jacking up this car to take it off. Just jack this up to the sill. She's done. Now they're clipped, remove the axle stands. Drop it down slowly. Slowly twist it down. There we go. She's grounded this side. There we go, that's that axle stand out the way with. And there you go. Slowly release. And the car's back down on all fours. So that's how to do an oil change, and also how to jack up your Jag safely and down again. So it's first drive out after just giving it a service. I've had the engine running for a little bit now, and now I'm just going to feel, honestly, the engine feels a lot more smoother right now. You don't know, magpie. Don't want to hit that, that'll be quite lucky. But it's just so much more smoother now. It's always worth doing your engine oil. Something special about that AJ engine. What an improvement. Hopefully another 10,000 more miles hassle free. Fingers crossed. Very typical. I want to make an outro and it's raining. The British weather never fails, honestly. Didn't fail though is the engine. The engine is running sweeter than a nut, sweetest than it's ever been for the last 2,000 miles. So that service was well overdue. So thank you for stopping if you've watched up to this point so far. Really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.